Super. So, Sylvain Sankalé, you're a former lawyer at the Senegalese bar. You've been actually a lawyer for 26 years. You've also been a lawyer at the Paris bar for 15 years. And after having had a career as a partner and then a managing partner of the law firm Génie and Sankalé, which goes back 100 years, approximately a century in Senegal, established for a century in Senegal, your law firm became Génie et Québec when you decided to retire somehow, and in 2008 became a counsel to the firm, but a consultant, free to do, you know, any type of work that you enjoyed more. You remain a trusted partner for several international law firms, amongst which I can name Evershed Sutherland in Paris, London, Tunis, and Dubai, Bird & Bird in Paris, and then Edwards Nathan Sonnenberg in Johannesburg. You also regularly provide teaching, training, coaching activities, partly for the training of lawyers and the Senegalese Bar Association, which you have been doing for many, many years. And you have been sitting on the jury of the bar examination. You also taught at the Higher Institute of Arts and Culture and the Faculty of Legal Sciences of the University Cheikh Anta Diop in Dakar. You also teach on behalf of the University of Alexandria in different countries, in France, USA, in the Ivory Coast, in Hungary, in China. In 2018, you were appointed visiting professor at the Center for Transregional Studies of the Belt and Road at the College of Arts and Science of Yunnan Normal University in China. Your activity globally has earned you a title of Foreign Trade Counselor of France and Economic Diplomacy Counselor for the Belgian Embassy in Senegal. You are a Knight of the National Order of Merit in Senegal, which you received in 1994. A Knight of the National Order of Merit in France, which you received in 2003. A Knight of the Order of Arts and Letters of the French Republic, which you received in 2009. You're also the author of a historical novel called À la mode du pays, about Saint-Louis du Sénégal at the turn of the 18th and 19th centuries. Beautiful book, I must say. You're also an arts critic, a member of the International Association of Arts Critics, author of numerous monographs, catalogs, chair of the Dakar Biennale of Contemporary African Art in 2000. You have curated numerous exhibitions. You're a renowned art collector of traditional and contemporary African art. And you wrote a monograph devoted to Senegalese painter Souleymane Keita, which was awarded the prize Prix du Palais Littéraire by the Palais de Justice in Paris in 1995. And I will conclude by saying that your doctoral thesis, which got very honorable mention with unanimous congratulation of the jury, was awarded a mention by the jury of the Favart Prize of Langlade, which is the International Association for History of Notaries in Paris in 2000. I'm going to say, wow, for a start, right? What a biography, Sylvain. So I'm just going to start firing up and say, as a seasoned lawyer who ran the largest firm in Senegal at an early age, and I'm insisting on that early age, and I hope you'll tell us more about it, what is your story.
I have to say everything.
Yes, please.
Impossible. I don't have any time for this. What I can say is only that I became a lawyer early because I started in school in kindergarten very early, and I continue like this without any particular problem. And with this, I became a lawyer as an avocat stagiaire. I was 21, and I became the partner of my law office at 25. And this was a very interesting experience, and I continued like this during 26 years. During this period, I also became a member of Paris Bar Association, and I finished by present my PhD, my doctorate in history of law in Montpellier University in 1998. And this is what I did as a lawyer, as an attorney. And in 2008, I decided, because I was thinking that that was enough, and that I needed to change my life, to change the way to see and organize my life. I decided to let my law office to my young colleague and friend Mohamed Kebe, and to continue alone with the status of consultant on whatever was enjoying me, and that was very, very interesting as experience.
Excellent, excellent. So, Sylvain, can you share with us any anecdotes related to this period where you were a young lawyer, a young partner in the law office?
In fact, the anecdote itself was to be the youngest inside the bar association in Senegal, and even in my law office. That was really difficult because my main partner, my partner, was 30 years older than I, and he was born exactly the same year than my mother, and that was particularly difficult to try to have some authority with my colleagues in court, and the judges and everybody in court, and also inside my own law office, and with my clients. And that was particularly difficult because you know that in Africa, particularly, when you have to always prove your respect to older people, and it's not very easy to be young. But anyway, I tried, because the problem is also that you can't use your authority and abuse of it, and with this you are totally crazy, and finally you get a result which is not at all what you want. But it was very difficult and interesting to try to manage the way to be acceptable for everybody, like you are. And that wasn't my only challenge, because I was young, but also I was from mixed origins, and I was a Christian in majority of Muslims persons. All this was quite heavy, but in In fact, I must say that I never had real troubles with it, and I was able to cross everything with this. I think that the fact that I was able to have a lot of humor and self-derision helps me a lot.
Indeed, indeed. And so around age 50-ish, you decide to become a consultant to actually sell your law firm to your colleague and become a law consultant, which you still are. But then you, in the meantime, you have also embraced a second career, actually from the beginning, if I'm not wrong, a career as an arts critic, an art specialist. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, in fact, I'm born in a family where everybody was interested by art, not really collectors, but art lovers. And I was, and my brother and my sister also, particularly interested by art. And we were able to look at what was going on around us. And I continue like this with a close friend of mine who was working for a PhD of art in France, and she came in Senegal to visit artists in their places, and she asked me to come with her. I was in university, I have some time, and I used to go, and I discovered at this moment the artists. I became a friend of them, and I continue like this. And I organized as a curator my first exhibition. I was 22 or something like this, and I continue. I always told the artists that I wasn't rich enough to be a real sponsor, but I was able to help them to get some sponsors. As I was a lawyer, I have a lot of contact, and also I accept to work for them, to give them legal opinions without any charge, and this was a way to function with them. I never had been a gallerist. I never tried to get money from art. It's only my pleasure, and it was important. I must say also that be with the artist was a way to cross the borders between my professional and social life, and discover something else, somebody else, in other conditions of life, a kind of liberty, and that was very important to affirm my personality, and that's why when I reached 60 years 1 month ago, I sent a message to all the artists to thank them to have been there and to have give me the possibility to discover a new world and other things, other people, and this is very important also.
Wow. And you are quite a renowned art critic and collector, and I know your collection is absolutely amazing. Now, what is really interesting about you, Sylvain, is that not only you've done this law career and the parallel art career, but you have another parallel career as a historian. So now can you tell us about that, please?
Yes, in fact, when I was in my first year of studies, I was seduced, if I can use the word, by the professor Bernard Durand, who is French from Montpellier University, but who was a professor in Senegal and was teaching history of law and social and economical facts. And I was really very interested by this, really interested also by the way he tried to learn us to this thing. And I continued to work with him. He always engaged me to continue and to continue and to continue until I present my doctorate in Montpellier in 1998. And I decided to work on what was around me, around my own history. It was Saint-Louis of Senegal and Gorée. And I decided to work on a special period before the first, before the end of the first half of 19th century. Mm-hmm. And Professor Durand, who is somebody very open-minded, told me, yes, I know that you are writing this thesis for your pleasure. Please go as far as possible in your pleasure. I ask you to write me a novel, historical novel, with persons you create or historical persons. You can do whatever you want with them. What I want is that when we finish to read your novel, we are able to understand everything on the life you decide, the period you decide to choose. And I was very seduced by the idea, and I decided not to create persons, but to look for people who lived really at this period. And I wrote a novel with all the scientific aspects, bibliography and everything, introduction, conclusion, and all, to present this situation, this period, and so. And I presented this work in Montpellier. That was really original, and the jury finally was very interested by what I wrote, and I published it 10 years after as a novel, and with an introduction by the French novelist Jean-Christophe Ruffin, who is a member of French Academy, and who appreciates also my work. And from this work, I start and continue to give some conferences, some speeches, also some courses and lessons in universities about history of colonial era in Senegal. And this is also an important part of my activity. And what is interesting for me is when I am able to mix those different words from art to history to law. And I have some opportunity to do so, and it's a real pleasure.
And you are part of a group of historians, an international group of historians, if I'm not mistaken, that is extremely interesting, the work you guys are doing. And you've been part of it for quite a long time, right?
Yes, with a few historians from different origins, some of them working in American universities, but coming from India, from Senegal, from Japan, or everywhere. We decided to work on radiating globalities to try to understand what was the regionalization, the mondialization before what we know actually. And this is really interesting because we met the first time in Princeton in USA, after in Kolkata in India, we were after in Senegal, and after in Yunnan in China. Now we are waiting for the end of the COVID to meet in Guatemala, and we expect to publish our work after the different point of views of different countries and worlds, and that was interesting. In China, for example, we were working on the Silk Road. I decided to present a work on a parallel between Silk Road and Salt Road across the Sahara Desert, because in fact you found exactly the same mechanism, economical, intellectual, religious, and so on. So that's why it was very interesting for me to work on a comparative way. And this is what we do. We have, for example, among our group, we have the famous historian Senegalese Mamadou Diouf. We have also Souleymane Bachir Diagne, who works with us, but Gayatri Spivak, who is an Indian professor, and so, and it's a real pleasure.
Wow, I'm impressed because, you know, you just do such amazing things, Sylvain, and I've known you for countless years. As a matter of fact, I call you my brother in arts, but I'm always totally amazed by, you know, how much you actually get done, and such interesting things. Are there any more anecdotes you want to share with us about art, about you know, your work in history, or as a teacher, as you teach around the world?
Oh, for example, as anecdote, there is a guy in Senegal who used to sell me some piece of art, and he came in my office once, and they explained him that I was in France for my doctorate. And when I came back, he told me with a lot of admiration, consideration, he told me, "Oh yes, maître, you are not only a lawyer, you are also able to be a doctorate for people who had troubles with health." That's why, as long as I met a doctor, medicine doctor, I always told I'm a colleague, because I am also doctorated. You see, it was very, very amusing.
And you're also a commissaire.
Yes, this is also when you know that commissaire is a word we use in French, the equivalent of curator in English. And there was a new Ministry of Culture in Senegal, who don't know a lot of things about culture, and I was introduced to him as the commissaire Sankalé, and he answered, "Ah, yes, you are a policeman, you," because commissaire is a word used in French also for an officer in police. But this is, you can see with this that I don't have only the activities you told and you explained, I'm also a policeman and a doctor of medicine. And that's very interesting for me, as if I don't have any activity, there is those possibilities.
So, my dear maître commissaire and doctor, You are also, I mean, you cherish a very special sport, which is horse riding. And you have taken it to a certain level because you also had prizes in competitions. Can you tell us about the horse riding part of your life?
You know, if I start to explain every part of my life, it's not only a few minutes that we will exchange. It's all the night. But anyway, I started to ride and particularly practice jumping when I was a teenager, and I continued, and I'm still able to ride actually, even if it's not at the same level. But I was a few years. I reached the final. I was a finalist of the senior championship of jumping in Senegal, and also I was during 4 years president of the national federation of jumping not only jumping of equestrian federation in Senegal, and that was very interesting. That's all.
Okay, we will. I won't ask more. Someone is asking me, given your extensive experience, can you tell us if there is domain for a dynamic art gallery in Dakar? And are there any successful ones in existence currently in Dakar?
This is very difficult. The problem is not to know if there have been dynamic gallery in Senegal. The problem is that you don't have enough people able or wanting to buy art in galleries in Senegal. The market is too limited, and it's impossible to really have the possibility to open a dynamic and very interesting gallery with a lot of activities. I think that there are people working. Their job is not so bad, and I think that with the limitation and the small possibilities there are, they do a real interesting job. And what is interesting also is that there are more and more professional also. And I think that we can't stay there and wait for the day where there will be something and so. We have to appreciate what we have, and we have to stimulate and congratulate and encourage people who are trying to work as they can in the possibility that they have in the situation we are. And there are a lot of things. It's not, yes, you have elsewhere in the world, even in Africa, many of us important galleries, but we have in Senegal, we have Biennale, we have a lot of things very interesting, and mainly we have very interesting artists themselves. I saw that there are a few among us who are listening what I am saying, and I know that they work and they do very interesting things, and we try to go on and to progress.
Thank you, Sylvain, for that. So, given everything you do, you are clearly an international public speaker, and I'd like to know what gives you the confidence to stand there and speak, and why do people listen to you?
I don't know why they listen to me. You should ask them. But the confidence I have is not a real confidence. In the real life, I'm very shy, but I don't know why. I'm quite able to speak easily, even if I'm in front of a lot of people. I always thought that it was easier for me to speak in a football stadium to thousands of people than to cross a living room for a cocktail, because I think that probably I have some facilities to speak and to organize what I have to say. You know that the improvisation is never improvisation.
Absolutely.
You have to prepare what you have to say. And for example, I'm actually speaking in English. That's not at all my my language, my daily language. I'm French speaking, living in a French speaking country. I had to prepare what I have to say, even if I seem to speak spontaneously. In fact, I had some idea about a lot of what I had to say. It's the same thing when I am in front of a crowd of persons. When I am in the possibility to share something, because in fact it's what interesting me. It's not, and that was the today exercise is not very easy. I don't like to speak of myself, but I think that I have to share interesting things.
Yes.
And when I am in this possibility to share interesting things in whatever matter, when I'm convinced, even if I'm not true, if it's not true, I'm convinced that what I have to say is interesting, I do it. And I can really do it. It's interesting because as a lawyer, I'm not at all a criminalist, and I never have to speak in court just for technical aspects, but that's all. And I was the one who had been chosen by the Senegalese bar and other bars in West Africa to explain the young lawyers how to speak. And I always explain them. I start always the sessions we have by saying that Somerset Maugham used to say, people who would know really something practice it, the others teach it. In French. In French, it's ceux qui savent faire quelque chose le font, les autres l'enseignent. And it's with this that I start when I start to try to explain the young lawyers how to be in court when I'm never there. But it's very interesting because when you have to think about it, when you have to explain a thing, you have to enough humility to be able to really how can I say be in empathy with people. You can say whatever, even if you know that you are not really absolutely able to say incredible things, but you are there simply, honestly, and you say what you have to say. That's all. And that's why I think that it's very important for me not only to be what I am and to have a few titles and diplomas and things like this. What is very important to me, for me, is to exchange, and particularly exchange with the young people around me who want to exchange. And what is interesting for me is that I try to be at their level. I don't, as I told, I'm 60, I'm not able to go and do a lot of things that they do, unfortunately, but or fortunately, I don't know. But what is important for me is that they have enough confidence with me to allow them to speak frankly, to say whatever they have to say, and we can discuss. And it's like this with my students. I saw that a few of them are online with my students. I'm not the professor. I'm somebody who wants to exchange with them. And I always told them I'm not the professor because I'm not an official member of university. That's why I'm free to present the things as I want, because I'm not inside the pattern in which all the other professors have to do. And that's very important for me, to be able to exchange, to discuss, and to learn, because I never think that only old people was able to know. I never forget that I was the youngest, and I think that even at this moment, I was able to have an idea of a lot of things. And I remember that I was the youngest, and I was sure that I had a few things to say and to think. That's why I think also that the youngest now are able to learn me a lot of things, and it's an exchange. And I think that this is why it's possible for me to speak and to discuss, because I'm there, I say what I have to say, and that's all. It's important for me. And for example, I saw that there was a few nephews and my niece in Atlanta online. She is 15, but she's there to see what her uncle has to say, and this is very interesting.
Excellent, excellent. Welcome to your niece from Atlanta. Thanks for being with us today. Sylvain, as you know, we have people listening from around the world. What advice would you like to give them on practicing law, being a historian, practicing sports, writing, art, anything you want, public speaking?
Oh, not what I want to say is that you have to clearly think about what are your goals in your life, what are your targets. If you want only an unreasonable accumulation of money, yes, it can be. I'm not sure that you'll be happy with this. If you are able to appreciate every moment of your life, if you are able to balance between what is serious and what is not serious, or what is not serious for pretended serious people, you have to look for what enjoys you. What enjoys you,
what
and
you enjoy, what you enjoy.
yeah, and this is what is interesting, because if you are only walking like a rabbit to try to get money and money and money, and never stop to see a flower somewhere, or the perfume of a lady who is crossing, or something like this, I think that you are not able to live, and this is very important. Yes, you have to try to get some money to be able to have a minimum of what is needed in the life, but it's not the only way to go to happiness. And I think that it's very important for people to be able to think about it. Does what I'm doing allows me to be happy? And when you are always interested by what you are doing, and I'm interested by law, by art, by horse, by history, but also by a lot of other things, dancing, whatever. You don't have any trouble to go across your life. There are difficulties for everybody, but you have to try to go and to cross your life and the person you meet in your life, to allow them to be happy also when it's possible. And this is what I try to get for myself, and I try to discuss. I discuss regularly with a lot of my nephews. I see that my nephews from Senegal are also asking for my attention. Yes, I know that you are there, and what I want to say is that it's always do what is interesting for you, what enjoys you, what allows you to be a happy man, and to give happiness around you. That is very important.
Sylvain, we could go on and on and on. You know, our friends are all here. They're all listening very attentively to what you have to share with us. I'm going just to ask you one more question. What are your final thoughts or final message that you would like to share with us?
The first thing is to thank everybody to have been there and to have the possibility to not to exchange with me, but to hear what I had to say. The second thing is what I was saying before. Be happy. That's very, very important, and never stop to discover the world, discover what is really important and interesting in the world. The world is not the other part of the world. The world is just in your neighbors. You can find a lot of very interesting things around you. You have to open your eyes. Never forget what said Rabelais, who was a French author in the Middle Age, who told if we have 2 ears, 2 eyes, and only 1 mouth, it's because we have to hear, to see, twice we have to speak. And it's very important to have this. Open your minds, open your arms, open your eyes, open your ears, and stop to always discuss about everything, everybody, all the things who are without any interest for you. This is what you have to do, and to live, to love, and what should help you to have an interesting life. This is what I have to say.
Wow. Well, Sylvain Sankalé, half an hour would never have been enough. We could go on and on and on, but I really want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and thank you on behalf of Acosphere for this amazing talk, for everything you have kindly and candidly shared with us. And I'd like to announce our next speaker. So next Thursday, we will be welcoming another lawyer, Dan Sheffet, who will be interviewed by Gilles Acogny. He is quite another interesting person with different interests from our lawyer from today. And so you will see that law leads us to very different paths in life. Until then, I would like to thank every one of you for being with us every Thursday. Thank you. It means a lot to us. Thank you again, Sylvain, for
Thank you, Nadia.
this amazing talk, and hope to see you soon. I can't resist saying, you know, as my brother in art, I do miss you very much with this COVID period, and I hope we'll sit and have our usual lunch and talks very, very soon. Until next Thursday, everyone, thank you very much. Stay safe, stay blessed, and have a lovely end of the week. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.